guy went clothes shopping in M&S. Not to mention what it was probably doing to his arteries. Susan heard him wheezing a bit in the mornings these days, just with the effort of levering himself out of bed. His bed. They'd finally gone down that road a few years back. His and hers single beds on either side of the room. They both liked different mattresses anyway. Better to get a good night's sleep. And, as Barry pointed out, his back was bad, and it's not like they were newlyweds. That side of things happened only very occasionally these days. In fact, when was the last time? Susan strained to remember. Around Christmas? Maybe before. "It's fun," Susan said, answering his question. Barry snorted. Wroxham Players, Susan's creative outlet. She was no actor, not that many of them were. She'd started out helping with wardrobe, and had now been in charge of costumes and props for the past 3 years. Jesus, Barry thought. The first nights he'd been obliged to attend. Bunch of pensioners and starry-eyed teenagers stepping into the scenery and over each other's lines. Still, it was harmless enough, he supposed. Kept her off the streets and all that. He poured himself some coffee, while in the background, Susan added more corn syrup to the fake blood mixture. "What is it this year?" Barry asked over his shoulder. "King Lear." He thought for a moment. "That's Shakespeare?" "Yes," Susan said. "Not a reader, her Barry. A good provider. An accountant. A chartered accountant," Susan used to hear herself saying proudly. "What's it about, then? That one?" he asked, sipping his black coffee. "Oh, the indignity of old age, you could say," Susan said, stirring the mixture, wondering if there would be enough of it. She feared Frank, the director, was intending to go a little peckinpah in the eye-gouging scene. She wondered if the sensibilities of the average Wroxham audience could take it. "Sounds cheery," Barry said, opening the Daily Mail over at the table, already only half listening. Look at this. Bloody East Europeans all over the place. Old age. They'd both be 60 this year. Their 35th wedding anniversary. What was that, Susan wondered? Jade? Topaz or something? And was it really 10 years since their silver wedding? Such a lovely little party Tom and Claire had thrown for them, in the function suite down at the watermill. Not that they saw much of Tom and Claire. Both caught up with their careers. At that age now, early 30s. Still, Susan did find it odd that their son and his wife had been together over a decade now and still hadn't produced a grandchild. It seemed to be the way these days. She'd been nearly 30 when she had Tom back in 1983. They'd classified her as an old mum. Special attention. Nowadays, 30 seemed young to be having children. What was Claire now? 32? 33? Anyway, they wanted to be getting a move on in Susan's view. She gave the water, corn syrup, ketchup mixture a final stir, pleased with the consistency now, and started looking in the drawer beneath the sink for the plastic Ziploc freezer bags. How best to ask him, Susan was wondering. Tricky ground. Julie and Barry had never enjoyed good terms. Julie, Susan suspected, thought Barry was boring. Barry, she very much knew, thought Julie was completely mental. A bad influence. True, Julie had always been wilder than Susan, way wilder back in the day, but she wasn't crazy. Still, she'd had a hell of a life, Julie. Maybe play to Barry's sense of superiority? "Oh, darling?" 800 quid a week in benefits. Shiftless bastards. "Could you put an extra 300 into my account, please?" "Eh? What for?" "Well, I spent a little more than I meant to."